from all parts of the political spectrum, one of the biggest issues that we have when it comes to immigration is the fact that we have an undocumented population. Mm-hmm. Now, you can fix that by trying to build a wall, or you can fix that by trying to document people and create a path to citizenship. Mm-hmm. And we'll have folks that might say, look at these systems, you know, that our shelter system has weight and things like that. But one of the reasons that our public systems experience weight is because people don't have a documented and reliable path to work and sustain themselves, just like all of our ancestors did, and our grandparents and great-grandparents.
Now, this one is going to roll some heads because, as you just heard in that previous clip, our favorite Congresswoman, Mrs. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez out of the Bronx, New York, was giving her perspective on how do we fix the illegal immigration. We fix illegal immigration, she thinks, by legalizing all of the illegal immigrants. Well, Eureka, doesn't that sound like some highly ignorant and unintelligent crap for a congresswoman to say? Absolutely. But you want to know something? We found out why AOC has been fighting so hard for these illegal immigrants. And in this video, we're going to go through what Miss Ocasio-Cortez has been doing behind the scenes and what's coming down the pike for her. I guarantee you, she is sitting in her apartment stewing right now because she realizes she stepped on the wrong person's toes and she betrayed this country for the last time. No longer will these left-wing lunatic libtards get a chance to just spew whatever and do whatever without repercussions. We had 4 years of that. Really, you might as well say 8, because under Trump's first term, he was still kind of in a cocoon. He had a core group of people that were loyal, but as we now know, this man had Judases all around him. And even people he thought was an ally turned out to be an adversary, all because he trusted the advice of somebody else who he finds out to be a turncoat. And we could pick a name, any name you want to pick. From Christopher Wray to John Bolton, these were people that were supposedly good conservatives. And guess what? With that Biden regime, they joined the cartel and they used lawfare against their political opponents and used warfare against the American people, it seems like, economic warfare. But let's check out this article because we got some video clips about this too, of Miss Ocasio-Cortez, where Miss Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez had an illegal immigrant working on her staff. I'm not going to go through this whole article, but let me let you check this out. Former illegal immigrant aide, AOC, self-deports to Colombia amid questions about employment report. An illegal immigrant, let me get this on it. An illegal immigrant who once worked for Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's campaign has moved to Colombia in frustration over the pace of progressive immigration reform in the United States. It's bittersweet. I hadn't left the country in 23 years, from age 7 to 30, Diego de la Vega told Migrant Insider. Now I can't go back to the U.S. It feels like exile. It's a very permanent move, but my wife and I are confident we made the right decision. And after some time, it's been a real pleasure to be here. De la Vega came to the U.S. when he was 7 years old, but ended up illegally overstaying his visitor's visa. Protections are going away regardless of who's in the White House. The strategy hasn't adapted to the modern era, he added. Biden had a trifecta, the House, Senate, and White House, but dropped the ball. Now, did you just hear that? This illegal immigrant said that Joe Biden dropped the ball. He had the trifecta. He really did. He had the House, the Senate, and the White House. So when these libtards get out and talk like, oh, on day one, Joe Biden signed the most comprehensive piece of legislation on the border, that shows how full of crap they are, because he was the president, Nancy Pelosi was the Speaker of the House, and Chuck Schumer was the majority in the Senate. So they could have passed that just like Roe v. Wade. Why didn't they codify Roe v. Wade? It's because the Democrat Party needs these things to never be fixed because that's what they run on. It's like Medicare and Medicaid. Once Doge and Trump balances those out, oh my God, the Democrats are going to lose their mind. Think about it. If they can't say, oh, we're protecting Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. If they can't say that because it's fixed, what else do you know the Democrats for saying they're protecting? But now they're having to protect their own, you know what, because it's happening. So let's go to this clip of Ms. Ocasio-Cortez, and she's going to be just talking a little bit more about immigration, okay? And then I'm going to get into the news that have come out involving Ms. Pam Bondi. Now, in this clip, we're going to give an example of just how arrogant Ms. Ocasio-Cortez is, because she had been doing webinars teaching illegal immigrants how to evade ICE and how to avoid being deported out of this country. Can you imagine a member of Congress aiding and abetting illegal immigrants to circumvent the law, to stay someplace they're not supposed to be, unvetted? It's like the last dude, the Diego guy. He was here from 7. Who brought him here? And he just stayed from 7 to 30? And he's working on their staff, but he's not supposed to be here. How did he get paid? Did they use a fake social security number? These are all the things that's coming down the pipe. Let's listen to what she got to say. Now, remember, too, she's doing this interview on NPR, which we now know, after the Doge exposure, was receiving monies, allegedly, from the Biden administration. So, of course, they're going to do softball everything and do what they can to help prop the Democrats up.
You had a recent dispute, if that's the right word, with Tom Homan, the president's Homeland Security czar, so-called. You held an online forum, a Know Your Rights forum, that he didn't like. What were you doing? What was your goal as you saw it?
My job is to educate and act as a liaison of critical information to my constituents. And I was informing all of my constituents of their constitutional protections, and in particular, their constitutional protections against illegal search and seizure in the United States.
If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid. Hit that like button. I'll never ask you for a cash app. I'll never ask for a super chat. But you hitting that like button, that is currency, because it helps spread the video around. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. On the Real Politics Podcast, that's what we do. We talk real politics. And once you subscribe, hit that notification bell and select all. That way, you'll be notified when I upload new videos. You know what's crazy? She is so insane. Illegal immigrants don't have constitutional protections. They're not a citizen of the United States. So what constitutional protections does an illegal immigrant have? They might have that in their home country. But if I went over to China right now or went over to Russia right now and did something, I'm not a citizen. So I am not allotted the same exact type of considerations as one of their citizens, especially if I'm there illegally. Just like Jasmine Crockett saying, it's not a crime to come into the country illegally. To even say that, coming into the country illegally is not a crime.
Holman was upset, I suppose, because he felt that you were giving advice to people who were here illegally. Were you?
I was giving advice to all of my constituents.
You're so full of crap.
Yeah.
He said he was going to report you, or even that he did reach out to the Department of Justice. Have you heard from the Department of Justice?
I have not, and I intend on reaching out to the Department of Justice to inquire.
Really?
Now, since that time, she did reach out. She actually submitted a letter. And here's a picture of the letter. She submitted a letter, asking, hey, are you going to be investigating me? She was very worried. But like I said in this video, I'm going to show you she had a very good reason to be worried.
Really? What would your question be for the Department of Justice?
Well, there is a member of the Trump administration who is threatening and seeks to open an inquiry. And are you going to do it?
What would you learn? What do you hope to learn from that exchange?
I think it's important to know where this administration stands and if they intend on using political intimidation to silence their critics.
These people are just deranged. Now, you got this woman talking about, they're going to use every time a Democrat does something, and if they're called out for it, now it's got to be lawfare, and he's weaponizing the Department of Justice. But you're literally aiding and abetting illegal immigrants. That is not him, because next they're going to say it's racist because, she's Hispanic. Then it's going to be misogyny because she's a woman. It's insane how they deflect. They deflect all the time. And so just because they're going to investigate you for the BS you're doing giving webinars. Matter of fact, let's take a look. Let me show you what the actual webinars look like, the stuff that she was giving out to people. AOC is instructing illegals to alert other illegals if ICE is coming. Helping illegals evade deportation is a federal crime. No one is above the law, not even low IQ members of Congress like AOC who don't understand the law. This is it. Matter of fact, let me expand it. This is what she's been giving to people. If you see ICE in public, verify, document. Let's see what it says. Verify, confirm they're actually ICE. Now, pay attention to the words that appear on their uniform and write them down. If you have the right to record, if you feel safe, take a video or photos of what the officers are doing. Write down the time, date, and exact location of the encounter. Once verified, share this information with your networks. So, in other words, she wants them, like they said, put the word out. It's the bird call. Let all the other illegals in the area know, hey, Holman and his crew are in the area, so run and scatter. And what about in that group if there's people that touch children or that unalive people or that rob people? She doesn't even know. And she's a congresswoman from the Bronx, where they got even without the illegal immigrants, they got people over there that don't mess around. So now you take the illegal immigrant part of it, put that on top of it. The Bronx is already economically in the dumps, and they taking the few resources they have, giving it out to people that aren't supposed to be here, and their member of Congress is aiding and abetting this. As a matter of fact, let me show you what he looks like. This right here is a picture of Mr. Diego de la Vega. This is him right here. Okay. And this says, did you know AOC's campaign, and this is from Libs of TikTok. Did you know AOC's campaign's deputy communication director? He worked as her communications director on her campaign as a member of the United States Congress. That is shameful. How do these Democrats keep getting away with this stuff? They raided Trump's house, but they called Joe Biden weeks in advance to let him know, hey, there's going to be a raid. Hunter Biden, laptop is real. You got 51 intelligence officers saying that it's fake. Then they tried to give him that sweetheart deal, and luckily that judge said, whoa, stopped it. Then they go to court. The man gets convicted of money laundering and weapons fraud, fraud on his gun license application. Then he gets pardoned. Jim Biden, Joe Biden's brother, who most of Americans don't even know, millions of dollars, took in millions of dollars. He's pardoned. But did you hear the news about the pardons? President Trump vacated all of those pardons, said that they were done with an auto pen. And Joe Biden had no idea they were being even done. How many other bills and pieces of legislation were used where that auto pen was used and Joe Biden didn't have, he thought he was on the moon somewhere sipping a pina colada. Now, lastly, with all of this going on, I'll show you this clip too. Okay, so right here, hey AOC, aside from Diego de la Vega, how many other illegals did you have on your staff in 2024? Here's the publicly available list of people you employed at the expense of the taxpayer from July to September 2024. You've also admitted Noreen Akhter entered the U.S. illegally, and that must be Noreen Akhter. And check this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 people employed illegally. How were they doing that? Woo, wouldn't it be something we find out that she helped them have fake IDs, fake social security numbers? And guess what? That is what's being reported. As a matter of fact, it goes deeper than that. The name of the group was called the Protection Committee, and that's what they did. There's actually a footage because a reporter hunted Diego down in Colombia, spoke to him, was given a flash drive, which had a video, allegedly, of a behind-the-scenes meeting of AOC and her staff, instructing them on what to do, how to evade ICE, making sure the people got the money to stay hidden, literally shuffling them around, safe house to safe house. That's nuts. And guess what? We got the right woman as Attorney General, because the woman that we all were so excited about when President Trump got her, Miss Pam Bondi, is here. This breaking. Pam Bondi is set to charge AOC for allegedly helping illegal immigrants avoid ICE. Do you support these charges? Pam Bondi is about to bring it down the pipe on her. They're already set. It's already getting started. I saw a few other posts on this also. Bottom line is, it's about time. And the fact that I know about what happened, you know about what happened, it's a guaranteed thing that the charges are coming down, because they cannot let something like this slide. They can't. And it's time for one of those Democrats to be made an example of. They have to be. It is that time. And AOC is the perfect one for it. The fact that she is so loud. And remember the kids in cages when she was crying? Oh my God. Then come to find out those were Obama and Biden's cages. Barack Obama was known as the deporter in chief, deported over 3 million people. Remember, the Democrats were for secure borders. You know when they flipped that? 2015, as Donald Trump was getting ready to come into office, 2016. All of a sudden, and President Trump saw it. He knew what was happening. And they knew that he was doing such a good job with this country. They knew he was going to get reelected. They knew it. Then all of a sudden, the pandemic comes. And I'm not going to get into that with the conspiracy thing, but I do firmly believe in my heart of hearts that election was funny. You look at all the numbers from all the other years of the elections, they stay, right around the same. Only in 2020 did you see an 18 million spike No other years ever like that, but in 2020. And then you mean to tell me that those people that supported Joe Biden, that just were anti-Trump, you mean tell me 18 million of them would have just stayed home because it's Kamala? Get out of here. We both know. But I got a feeling, I believe that President Trump is going to get to the bottom of that. He already vacated the pardons of the January 6th Unselect Committee. So, hey, we're going to see what's coming down the pike. But I wanted to jump in and share that with you. AOC, Miss Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the hammer is dropping on her. She's literally been not just aiding and abetting. She hired him, paid the man $80,000 a year. She couldn't find a good American person to be her director of communications. Her deputy director, excuse me. Man, it's just crazy. But anyway, listen, if you've been watching with me this long, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And as always, if you haven't already liked the video, share this video, subscribe to the channel. And most importantly, I just want to say thank you. Again, I'm Brian Maxwell, and I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.